Hey everybody, day 2 of the Clutter Clearing Challenge. Sorry, I'm 1 minute late. Had a little tech issue. It wasn't going to be showing in our Facebook group, which not okay. So hopefully this is showing up fine. If you can hear me, see me, if you're finding me okay, please just go ahead and put a comment in the comment section so I know that I am being broadcast. That will be super helpful. So go ahead and put a comment in the comment stream so I know you can hear and see me as we talk about day 2 in the Clutter Clearing Challenge. Can you hear me okay? I'm using a different microphone, so I just need to know if you guys can hear me. Put a comment. Awesome. Thank you. All right. I got confirmation that you can see and hear me. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. All right. So here we are, day 2 of the Clutter Clearing Challenge. If you weren't able to join us yesterday for day 1, welcome live for day 2. And welcome to the replay viewers as well. You'll find this, well, if you found it, you found it in the Facebook group and on my YouTube channel. There's a playlist for the Clutter Clearing Challenge on my YouTube channel that you need that special link for you got in your email. So I am loving all of the chatter and conversation happening in the Facebook group. It's so good to see you guys in there really digging in, like not only getting stuff done, but realizing that it's more than you think. Right before I came on live, I saw that Jen put a post in the Facebook group. She shared a picture of the supplements and the medicines that she cleared out. And she said this was so much more than getting rid of expired medications and supplements. Mind blown. Right, Jen? You think it's just these teeny tiny little things I'm having you do, but they mean so much more. So thanks so much for sharing, Jen. Yeah, here's Jen. Here's Jen. She's the one who just did all the supplements and the medicines. It's awesome. Good job, Jen. All right. So that was from yesterday's challenge, the supplements and socks and food storage containers. So today we're talking tech, right? We're talking digital clutter. So I want to talk a little bit about digital clutter as a whole. So you have those 3 examples in your email, which I'll go through them in just a minute. But before I do, I want to just talk a bit about digital clutter, tech clutter, whatever it may be. This is, as you can imagine, inundating our world, as it has been for the past couple decades, where we are just so accessible. Text message, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're so accessible in so many different ways. And there's so much good offerings out there that we're signing up for things and we're grabbing things and our email inbox is just exploding. So tech clutter, digital clutter, may not be as in your face as physical clutter, as piles of paperwork or stacks of books or, laundry or clothes, whatever it may be. The digital clutter may not be as in your face, but that doesn't mean it's not siphoning your energy still. Digital clutter and tech clutter is actually a great place to start practicing setting boundaries. So, throughout my years of doing this work, I have found that there are 3 common core causes of every type of stubborn clutter. So, by stubborn clutter, I mean this is clutter that you either already know you want to clear or you have an inkling that you want to clear, but you cannot seem to make it happen, right? This can be anything from toxic relationships to paperwork on your desk to items in your pantry to weight on your body. That's clutter that most people don't think about. Clutter that you know you want to clear, but you just can't seem to make progress on it is what I call stubborn clutter. If it was easy to get rid of, it would be simple clutter. So stubborn clutter is everything else. And that's the stuff that people get the most frustrated with because it's like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. I just want to do this. I just want to get this cleared out, but I cannot seem to make it happen. That's the stubborn clutter. What is rumbling underneath all stubborn clutter are 3 core causes. There are 3 things that are causing it, either individually or combined. So those 3 things are limiting beliefs, the need for boundaries, and unrealistic expectations. So I'm going to put this in the chat so I can then show it on the screen. Unrealistic expectations, limiting beliefs, and need for boundaries. Okay. So these are the three core causes of every kind of stubborn clutter: mental, spiritual, physical, emotional. These are the three things that are underneath it all. These are the things I want you paying attention to and listening for and watching out for as you do these seemingly small tasks that I'm having you do every day. Just like Jen said in the Facebook group, thought it was just about the supplements and the medicine. It's about so much more than that, right? What are the stories you're telling yourself as you go to clear some clutter? Or how are you talking yourself out of doing the thing you say you want to do? How are you talking yourself out of it? That is a fast lane way to identify limiting beliefs. How do you talk yourself out of taking the action you know you so desperately want to take, but you can't seem to get yourself to do it? It's one of these three. And actually, limiting beliefs is kind of like the engine that drives it all. So limiting beliefs are the cause behind a struggle to set boundaries. Limiting beliefs are what can cause you to have unrealistic expectations, right? It's these stories we tell ourselves that, oh, I can't get rid of this because I pay too much money for it and that would be wasteful. Okay, let's dig into that belief a little bit. How much is it costing you to hold on to it versus how much you paid for it? How much is beating yourself up about having never used it costing you emotionally and spiritually? I guarantee you it's much more expensive emotionally and spiritually than the shelf price was when you bought it. But again, you want to dig into these beliefs because these beliefs that prevent you from getting rid of stubborn clutter are the same beliefs that stop you from moving forward in your life. Right? So it's the same things, these three things. Unrealistic expectations is similar, right? That's the whole idea of I'm going to organize my entire kitchen today. That's an unrealistic expectation driven by a limiting belief, which is probably related to perfectionism, right? If you can't do it all, don't do. If you can't do everything, don't do anything, right? That kind of thinking. All of these ways that we talk ourselves out of making progress is based in fear. They're all based in fear. So that part of us who wants so desperately to continue to do what we've always done just because it's safe and familiar will sabotage us at every turn. Now, he or she is sabotaging us not because they're little monsters who really want to see us fail, but because they're scared. So they need to know and have evidence from you that you will do the adulting, that you will take good care of them as you take these action steps that feel scary to them, right? And the best way to show them, the best way to give them that evidence is to show them. Lip service, not going to happen, right? Lip service is not going to cut it. Lip service will teach yourself to distrust yourself, mistrust yourself, whatever. Not trust yourself. But action is actual evidence and proof of like, look, see, I did it. I took care of you while we did it. So when I say technology clutter or digital clutter is a great way to practice, say, boundary setting, it's because unsubscribing from emails you no longer read is a boundary, right? Boundaries don't always have to be these confrontational conversations we have with others. Oftentimes, the boundaries we need to set the most are with ourselves, right? So instead of keeping all of these documents or emails or notes from a previous profession, whatever it might be, saying, someday I'm going to read them. And as soon as I read that, then I'm going to know exactly what I need to do to accomplish fill in the blank, right? Those are loose boundaries with yourself. So think about like, okay, does my behavior match that intention? So I'll give you an example. So I have, well, not so much anymore, but I had a folder on my computer that was called free resources. And these were things that I received that they were either like pre-order bonuses for someone's book. They were a free download for subscribing to someone's email, a gift that they gave me, a workbook from whatever, right? So I had all these resources in this folder called free resources. Um, and I'm sure it was filled with fantastic information. I'm sure of it. But when I am looking to figure something out or learn something new or do something different, my default behavior is to go on Google and search how to do it. While that might not be the most efficient way to do it, because I probably have something sitting in that free resources folder, that's just what I do. So instead of expecting myself to behave differently, I like to have what I keep in my life be driven by the behavior that I do. So if I'm someone who tends to jump online and search how to do something and not refer to my resource folder, then there's no point in keeping that resource folder because I never look there anyway. So instead, that folder just becomes a big folder of shoulds. Oh, that's right. This is what I should be doing. That is what I should be doing. I should be looking here. Not only that, some resources in that folder I wasn't ready for, right? I wanted to be ready for it, or I thought about, down the road, someday when I decide to, you know, become a master at Instagram Reels, I'm going to access that. Well, also by not having any motivation or interest in doing that right now, and we all know how social media changes so fast, it'll probably be outdated by the time I even think about it. It becomes this should in this folder of like, oh, you know what? I'm not able to help more people because I haven't done an Instagram reel yet. And it's like, Carrie, you know what? Be who you are. You're not going to be an Instagram reel person. At least you don't think so. At least you're not now. So get rid of that. Or that PDF in that folder that's all about, living plant-based. Sounds great. I don't know that I'll ever be someone who eats strictly plant-based. I might be, but right now, because I'm not, that makes me feel shitty about myself. It makes me feel like, oh, there's some more potential I'm squandering, right? So thinking about what you hang on to and the stories it creates about yourself is really important to think about. Do I still want this? Right? Um, yeah, guilty on all email subscription points, right? It's really tempting. I mean, sometimes sometimes I don't necessarily want a regular email from that person, but I love that gift that they're offering. So I'll subscribe, grab the gift, and maybe stay subscribed for a little bit, but then, unsubscribe, and that's okay. I even say to people, listen, I love to have you all in my email family. I really do. If at any time my emails to you become clutter, unsubscribe. I will miss you dearly. I'll be sad for a little bit, but the last thing I want is to become clutter in your life. It's the last thing I want. So know that it's okay, right? Um, if you are subscribing to all of these things that kind of hold some sort of potential of who you could be, but you're not yet that person, unsubscribe. You can have that vision for yourself. Yeah, this is great. As one YouTuber said, sometimes you need to break up with your fantasy self, right? And that's okay. That doesn't mean that fantasy self will never come to fruition. But I'm telling you, I have learned this firsthand. The fastest way to get to where you want to be is to love yourself right where you're at. Who you are today versus who you think you should already be. Right? Fastest way to love yourself, to get to where you want to be, is to love yourself right where you're at. So it's okay if you love the idea of this subscription that you're a part of, this newsletter, this monthly box of fill in the blank, but it's just not who you are. It's kind of who you maybe aspire to be, or, and this is the other tricky thing with digital clutter, right? Like all the social media channels, we see people's highlight reels of their life, and we compare ourselves to their highlight reels, and we think we need to be able to do that. We need to be that. I can't be happy, fulfilled, successful unless fill in the blank. Okay. So I just want to check, is anybody else, someone here is getting lots of interruptions this morning. Want to make sure the tech is working for everyone else. Okay, so we've got, I am a should be gal along with someday. Question to self is, why do I think I need to know everything someday? Right? That's a really powerful question. So we often do this someday thing, like, someday I'm going to blank. And here's what that's about. So when we live in this fantasy of someday, it can do a couple things. It can inspire us to charge forward, or, because it can be both, it can keep us completely stuck. Because we can live off the high of that fantasy of someday, that fix we get can be enough for us in the moment that we then don't take action, right? So this is, and I'm sure we've all done this, right? Have you ever had an idea in your life of something you're going to do, and you start telling people about it, like, oh my God, did I tell you? This is what I'm thinking about doing. That's what I'm thinking about doing. Now I'm going to do this. And you jump to lots of different things. It feels really exciting to talk to people about that. And then that excitement, that adrenaline rush wears off. And now the rubber needs to meet the road. And now it's time for you to take action on it. If you have resistance to taking action, you might then tell someone else about it to get that rush again, or you might change course to this other idea, right? And so you get that rush again. So living in pursuit of someday can often keep us stuck right in here today. So you can, as I mentioned, you can use someday as a vision to work toward, as long as you are putting action to support it in place today. Some of you have likely heard me talk about the idea of your future self and your present self. Future self loves to dream big, loves to get caught up in someday, can really see the value in what that someday could bring to your life. But present self is the one who has to actually do the work. And present self loves immediate gratification. That is the power of these simple, small steps I have you do. These action challenges that I'm having you do every day are examples of simple, small steps that you can take and experience the win of success, which keeps your present self in the game. The best way to finish anything and to accomplish anything is to get good at getting started. And that's what these little exercises are for here, right? Getting good at getting started. Okay, so I want to say just a little bit. Hold on one moment. Hold on 1 second, please. Okay, so today's examples: clean up your desktop, emails, digital photos. I'm going to say just a little bit on each, and then I'm going to come into the chat because I want to hear from you all as well. Cleaning up your desktop on your computer. One quick pro tip for anyone who is on a Macintosh computer: if you click on your desktop and either right click, if you have that kind of mouse that right clicks, or hold down the control button and hit click, you'll see something that says use stacks. I love this trick. So use stacks will stack up similar type of files. So like on my desktop, I have a document stack, a presentation stack, a PDF stack, and a screenshot stack. So instead of having them all scattered all over the place, the stacks just make it visually nicer. If that isn't an option, I think that there's something similar on a PC. I honestly just don't know. I've only used Macs for 20 plus years. There's something about the visual clarity of a desktop when you come to your computer, your laptop, your tablet, whatever it is. Having as much visual clarity as you can be much more inspiring than feeling draining. So that may feel like a not very significant or important thing to do, but I promise you to kick things off, your electronic work from a more clear space is pretty damn powerful. Emails. We all know we have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of emails, right? So I just want you to spend, if you haven't already, 15 minutes deleting emails from your inbox that you're no longer interested in. And as I mentioned in the email, what I tend to do when my inbox gets out of control, I will sort the date received from oldest to newest. So the oldest one is up top. That's going to help me see, like, oh gosh, yeah, I've been meaning to read that. You know what? I'm going to schedule time in my calendar this week to follow up on that email. Or, oh my God, I haven't looked at that in 3 years. I guess I'm doing okay without it. Delete, right? Easier to do it oldest to newest. So you don't need to read or respond to every email. This is going to give some of you kind of like agita, but I have had some people who have just wiped out their inbox and started from scratch. And they're like, you know what? If it was really important, they'll write again. I'm not saying to necessarily do that, but I have had people do that. Okay, good. So there's that. And then your digital photos. Now, this is bigger, much bigger than you think. So digital photos, the energy that they hold, it's so easy to take a ton of them, right? Especially nowadays. And we forget to delete them because it's easy to forget. So start by just going through your photos and looking for the crappy ones, the ones that are blurry, the ones that you're like, why did I even take this photo? Like, yeah, it felt amazing in the moment, but it didn't really capture the essence of that day. Other really important thing is look for photos of people or times in your life that make you feel crappy and consider getting rid of them. Now, you don't have to get rid of them all. I gave this example a couple years ago. I had some photos in my photo library of a day that we had with friends, and we are no longer friends with these people, and the friendship didn't end in the greatest of ways. And so I was tempted to go in there and delete any evidence of them ever existing. But there was a day that we spent together that is still a favorite day of mine. And so I kept some of those photos, even though these people are in them, because I still smile and feel warm when I think about that day. Any other photos that didn't make me feel that way, I deleted. Not only did I delete, I then emptied my recently deleted folder. So if you want to attract a new relationship, if you want to deepen your friendships, if you want to deepen your relationship with yourself or your family, photos of people who are no longer in your life or no longer make you feel good are occupying space in the relationship seat of your house. So you can go on a treasure hunt in your photo library looking for crappy photos and then looking for photos of people or times that you would rather forget. It's not erasing history because it still lives within you, but it's okay to get rid of the visual reminder. Get rid of it. Okay, those are the three. Now I'm going to come into the comments here and just make sure I'm not missing any questions. Oh, Trisha, I'm so sorry you're recovering from COVID. Oh, I hope you're doing well. And someone else is watching from a hospital bed. I hope you're doing okay. Let me see if I can. One moment, please. So I'm going to try to see. Yeah, I don't want to screw with technology, but whoever's in the hospital bed, I'm sending you love. I will be able to see you when I go back into Facebook. Susan has blitzed her emails today, looking and feeling so much better. Yeah, it's very empowering. And believe it or not, like unsubscribing or deleting emails is an example of setting boundaries, because those are the three common core causes of clutter, right? Lynn got rid of emails and folders that she didn't need or want anymore. It's so good. One person says, I feel I might miss something if I unsubscribe from a newsletter or email list. I have unsubscribed from some. Setting boundaries is hard and sometimes scary. Yes, and it really can be for people. It can be for me too, right? It is a muscle that you need to exercise. So let me say this. If you miss something by unsubscribing from a newsletter or email list, I kind of put a larger trust out there that if I was meant to see it, it will find its way to me. And I know that can sound like super woo woo, but I do believe that someone will either share it with me, I'll see it on social media somewhere. I would want you to more start to dig into that FOMO clutter, right? That fear of missing out clutter. What if you did miss something from an email list? What would that mean, right? Anytime these fears come up, the most loving thing we can do is to play them out. Don't just try to squash them and deny them and be like, yeah, that doesn't really matter. Play the fears out, because you will find that when you play them out, they're not nearly as scary as they were in your head. I feel like when I don't keep those resource hints, that if someone else needs it, I won't be able to be helpful to them. Okay, so this is getting juicy too, right? There's a belief here. So it's lovely to be helpful to people. I'm all for that. I'm all about kindness, right? If you if you if someone else needs it and you aren't able to be helpful to them, what will that mean about your relationship, about your worth, or about your value? That's what I would want you to dig into, because that's the clutter that's going on underneath there. Same with receipts, right? I search online, yet I have recipes. Yeah, I read that as receipts. Yes, exactly. I used to keep recipes too. I had folders of them, and I'm like, every time I look for a recipe, I go online. Paper recipes are gone. Okay, this is great. All right, you are helping me realize I am never going to have enough balance again to ride like the wind on my bike like I used to. So why am I hanging onto two bikes that are constantly in the way in my tiny space? Yes, time to get rid of those bikes. However, I want you to really capture the feeling and the experience you had when you did ride like the wind. Because I promise you, there is a way you can incorporate that same sensation and experience in your life as it looks today. So don't write that off. Um, this person is taking more steps in another big plan as well. Fantastic. The more you clear out, the more space you have for more energy and focus. Love the easy, small exercises, achievable, and gives a great sense of accomplishments when complete. That is the power of the small steps, and you get the present you to really love that win, right? So good. Okay. Lots of emails, 220,000 plus just on one of many emails, but on the web since its beginning. I'm not a picture snapper, just occasional pics, so probably don't take enough of them. Okay. Honestly, I feel like these things are so the least of my problems and just can't get inspired right now. I do all of these things on a regular basis. The desktop is what I need it to be. Great, Karen. Then this is not an area for you that you feel constricted in, right? And that's fine. So what else do these examples trigger for you, remind you of, inspire you to do, right? And I would say turn your focus to that. Single socks, absolutely. Tupperware tops, yep, bye-bye to those. Deleting photos, bit more challenging. But I can delete the obvious, get rid of as a start. That's all you need to do, right? Absolutely. Sometimes I get so ready to get started, and then I do, but then something happens and I get super sad and angry, and then all I want to do is sleep or read. This is important, right? So we have to take care of our emotional health and our mental well-being. So if you are feeling sleepy or sad or angry, honor those feelings. Take to your journal. Do a quiet meditation. Sit quietly and take some deep breaths. That is important clutter clearing too. It's not all about just getting rid of the physical stuff. Okay. Awesome. Okay, good. Awesome. Getting great value from this challenge. Already did a first run on sorting photos. This is so timely for me. The little action of lifting my attitude and hope to getting my house, garage, life decluttered. Awesome. Small steps, little bit to the point, little actions to move things forward. The house, the garage, the life decluttered is a great vision, but just keep those expectations realistic. Otherwise, present self is going to flip you the bird. Yeah. All right. Good. I hope this is helpful, guys. Keep in mind, I'm going to find that where I wrote that so I can put it up again. These are the things I want you to be listening for, watching for, as you do these small action steps, because it's not about the steps, although they're powerful as well. It's about uncovering what's going on underneath it. And remember, participate in the Facebook group. If you're not in Facebook, send my assistant an email to let her know that you've done the action step for today. Whatever you choose to do, that gets you an entry into my Radical Decluttering course giveaway. Radical Decluttering course, we dig into everything we're touching upon here this week, and we go deep, 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 deep into it, and really get you moving on clearing out some stuff, some more stuff as well, and looking at the mess, uncovering that message in the mess. That's going to start in a couple weeks, but keep participating in this, and you could win yourself a free seat into it. Okay, good. Awesome. Let me just check here. Okay, guys, so good to be with you. I'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Keep the chatter going in the Facebook group, and I'll be jumping in there to respond, celebrate, congratulate, answer questions. So go ahead and put some stuff in the Facebook group as well. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.